All right. So I want you to think of three things that bring stress into your day within the first 2 hours of your day. And when you think of what these first three things are they people? Are they things, substances, a certain object, anything? Is it a job or an activity that you're pursuing or that you're experiencing? A lot of people will end up just waking up just stressed out about their life. It's how they are about their life. They're not satisfied with it, and that's great because that's the first step to getting work done is dissatisfaction. So let's go ahead and dive into this. So one of the biggest things that stresses us out on a physical level are people. And if you've ever heard of somebody being a vampire or an energy vampire, as I've heard before, are those types of people that just seem to suck all the energy out of you, all the positivity. Even if they're your best friend, they suck everything out of you. And everybody's experienced this type of person. And the thing about this is that everybody holds a charge. You either hold a positive charge, a negative charge, or a neutral charge. Think about what charge you're holding right now. And think about how you've had that charge, how long you've had that charge. Are you in a negative state right now? And if you've been in a negative state all day, did you pass that negative charge onto somebody else? Did you get in the way of other people? Were you grouchy to other people? 90% of the time, it's yes. And if you feel positive, if you had a great day, I'm pretty sure you were expressing a lot of that. You were passing on that positive charge. And if you're neutral, well, just keep listening. So, what you surround yourself with will apply a charge to your reality. It'll either be positive or negative. And so, when you have certain people come up to you that just put you in a negative mood. You ever had just someone who came around and they just stirred you up? Now you're just mad. The rest of your day gets ruined usually. Well, it's so funny how people can control our emotions so easily, and yet we can't seem to control them as easily as other people can. But we're the ones in control. We just don't take action. It's as simple as that. And the thing is that negative is always automatic. It's the easy way in. Just as, if you want to make a lot of money, it's going to be a harder path than making less money. That's what I've heard, but how I feel about that idea is that working a job 40 hours a week, every week in, every week out, just to make enough money to pay the bills and get you through, that's hard. It's really hard, and a lot of people can agree with me that makes life very hard. Having a lot of money is really easy. Everything's just really easy. Having that 40-hour-a-week, 30-hour-a-week job that's paying you anywhere from minimum wage up to $15 an hour might just be getting you by. But that's hard. But we do it. And so, to get back to what I was saying about negative being automatic, it's just like darkness. Darkness is always automatic, unless there's light put into the space where it was dark. Negativity will always come into your mind automatically. You know that little voice in the back of your head. And so, if light is not present, it's the darkness that's automatic. If positivity is not present, then negativity is automatic. And that makes it to where if somebody who's holding a negative charge can come by and really easily pass it on to you if you're neutral, which a lot of people are neutral some of the times. If not, they're usually negative because it's getting passed around. Negative people usually hang around negative people. Same for positive people and positive people. It's like birds of a feather flock together. Who you surround yourself with is going to depend on what charge you have normally. And it's funny because studies show that you'll make around the same income as, the top 5 people you see in your daily life, or weekly or monthly, depending on how much you get out. There's a lot of people that don't get out too much. And so the choice is, which way are you going to go when something, a circumstance, a situation, a person comes up to you that tries to put on that automatic negative charge? You have the choice whether to take it or reject it. And you also have the choice to put a positive one back in replacement of that negative one. And that's high suggestion right there, to replace it with a positive one. It's kind of like my grandma taught me whenever we would go out to eat. The tables are always clean, usually. But sometimes you find a table that's messy, and she always told me to leave a table cleaner than how we found it. Even though, you've got your plates stacked up and the server may or may have not gotten them. As a kid, I'd make a mess a lot of times, and she always told me to leave the table, just like any other place that I go to, better than what I found it. The same applies with people. Be a light to the world. That's the mission here. And so, when you have the choice to go one way or the other, which way are you going to go? And as I've said, negative is automatic, so that's going to be the easy way out. Don't do that. Now, that little voice is a big part of what makes you take the negative path or the negative charge. It's the little voice in the back of your head. And as rich as you want to be and as successful as you might want to be and, as even fulfilled as you might want to be, that little voice will always be there throughout your entire life. It's not going to go away. No matter how many times you excel through stages of life, it's still going to be in the back of your head. It's like when you're broke and you have broke people problems, and then you get a lot of money, you get rich, you'll still have problems. It's just rich people problems. Negative is always automatic. It's always there. With the bad comes the good, and with the good comes the bad. They go both hand in hand. You can't have a coin without both sides. And when somebody, specifically like people, we could be talking about circumstances and things that happen, but it's mostly with people. When somebody comes up to you and says something that puts a negative charge on you, who are they to do that, to control your emotions like that rather than you? And how come that people like to get beliefs onto other people? Now, I'm not talking about anything religious or scientific at all. I'm meaning when you're in disagreements on any type of topic, any type of anything. And you'll notice people will get mad. Even on Facebook, YouTube, comment sections, people will argue over something. Well, I think this. Oh, well, you're wrong in this. There's always going to be both sides to the coin, and it does not matter. And so, why do you care that they don't believe the way that you do? Everybody has a unique individual perspective. Remember the point that I talked about? It might just be that they don't see it from your point. Or sometimes they're not ever going to. So why does it really matter that you get your beliefs onto them? And when you really start to understand that, you won't care of other people's opinions, what they say about you, what they say about things that you believe in. You won't be rubbed the wrong way. You won't be as easy to take the negative in. And that's okay. And whenever I'm around somebody who's disagreeing with me, I always listen. I keep my silence and I always listen. And if you listen to what people say, things won't really turn into an argument. It's usually because someone says something and then you go to do that initial and go say something to them. And then they go and it's back and forth and back and forth. And then it turns into a heated debate and then you're both pissed off. And so just listen. And then, if they say some stuff or if they ask you a question about, how do you feel, be like, well, I don't see the same point as you do, but, I'd rather marvel in the agreeances rather than the disagreements. It's usually what I do. And so let's get back on track here. That little voice in the back of your head that's going to pull you to the negative side rather than the positive will always be there. And so we know that negativity doesn't just come from the realm of thought, it also comes from the physical, such as people, circumstances, situations. And this is why I've said before, filtering out the thoughts can beat it at the core, because remember, everything begins in the mind. The perspective of the mind is everything. It starts there, and then it will become a part of your reality, because everything starts with thought. And so if you can filter out the thoughts and get the negativity out of there, that's going to cut a big deal out of it for you. So if you haven't started doing that exercise already, I'd advise doing it. And so another way to help with getting negativity out of your life, because, that's why you're watching this video, to figure out, I hope, you need to figure out what things are doing nothing for you. Things that take time out of your day, things that drain your energy, people that drain your energy, anything like that. And for everything that's doing something that's taking away from you, turn it into something that's doing something for you. You might not have to just convert the thing specifically, but you can completely replace something. Like, instead of spending 2 hours on Netflix, I'm spending 2 hours studying, or 2 hours making money somehow, or some way or another investing in myself in any way or form that you find that necessary to do to yourself. And so if you filter out the thoughts, your judgment on things will actually start to get better, and you'll notice this. And then you'll be able to filter out the physical things in your life that are hindering you, the negative things, the negative aspects. And so, if it's hard for you to do the physical, start at the core with the thoughts. It'll become easier with time, I promise. Everything that's worth doing takes time. And back on the positive and negative charge, if somebody comes to you with a negative charge, most of the time it's because somebody gave them one. So be very understanding when people are angry. You don't have to be, a complete little bitch to them. You don't have to completely, submit to them. But be understanding, and then don't just lash out and blah, just like they are, and act just as, go to that lower standard as they are, coming to you in that way. And so then you realize it's really just all these charges being passed around, and that your charge matters, and that you can actually change a lot just by being positive. This is why all these other people go on about positive thinking. And I could tell you on and on the same other things that they tell you about positive thinking, but it all boils down to it. Once you do it, you realize what it's worth, and there it is. If you don't believe in it, you don't care about it, whatever. Do your own thing. And so another thing I want to add is that whenever you have a negative thought, just like I've said, either accept it or reject it. Obviously, reject it. You need to also ask yourself, for every negative thought, is this valuable? Is it valuable? And only do that if the regular exercise isn't working for you. If you're getting rid of all of the negative thoughts, rejecting them over and over, and it's still not working, start to ask if they're valuable in your own head, or out loud if you can. And slowly your subconscious will take this as, this is worthless to me. And so let's boil it all down to what we can do, just as a big summary for this video, to get rid of negative thoughts way easier than I've brought up in the past. Number one, obviously, as I've said in the past, control your thoughts. Distract with positivity. Number two, don't let others' charges take control over your emotions, because, as we know, emotions control our actions. And number three, don't let that little voice in your head pull you off track. That little voice is going to always be automatic and always going to be automatically negative. So I hope you have a positive rest of the day, rest of the week, month, year, rest of your life. I also will for you all to prosper and have a great day. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.